What's up, y'all? It's T-Chart. Today we're gonna be talking about more Scarlet and Violet DLC stuff. We got Riddler Khu posting some and a bunch of theories you guys sent me. So let's start with this. Actually, let me start with this. In the start of the trailer, they showed this cutscene where the hand is being grabbed. I'm an idiot. I thought this was Sada and Toro and that it was a new cutscene. It turns out it's just the cutscene from when you're first going into Area Zero, and that's like Arbin grabbing your hand. Why the frick would they put that there? And so prominently in the front. So now that we know that this isn't Sada and Toro, thinking back to this whole DLC, it seems unlikely that both of them would actually end up crossing over. So first is a theory from Blaze, and his theory is that Terapagos is an artificial Pokemon, that it was created using the DNA of an original Hexagon Pokemon by Cyrano and Blueberry Academy. So essentially the theory is that they made a new Terapagos to power the Terrarium, but this theory feels backwards because it sounds like Blueberry would already have Terapagos then. The ultimate goal shouldn't be to make this amusement park, it should be the other way around, like they made the Terrarium to attract Terapagos. But it's a cool idea either way. There's something with this Terrarium that's odd. Something here is not what it seems. Here's a theory from Light. So when staring at the gameplay in that trailer, at one point they show this person wearing a mask at their store stand. But if you look at the store itself, it seems to be an ice cream store, and on the billboard it shows a Snover with some like flavor on its head. So his theory is, what if there is a Snover regional variant or regional fake in this DLC, and that's what this actually is. The same way you'll see like Tauros and other Pokemon on people's shirts, sometimes they do tease things in like the billboards. Back a few months ago, Khu posted this random teaser where he hints for Pokemon, and it leads people to thinking that maybe these are related to Pokemon that will end up getting like a regional faker form, and that this is maybe Snover. But other ideas for why Khu tweeted this is that he's just hinting Pokemon home compatibility and all that, because these are updated sprites, and this was back in February. Here's a theory from GN where they put a picture of the Hunger Games and then a picture of the Terrarium and ask, kind of similar to the Hunger Games arena, right? I mean, what is Cyrano trying to like toss someone in there and have them fend for themselves? Maybe it's a punishment. Cyrano just sends someone to the Terrarium if they F up. And here's a theory from Gwen saying that I think Blueberry Academy might be keeping Terapagos in the Terrarium, probably against its will. This sounds possible. They make it sound like they're carefully controlling the Terrarium's temperature and managing it for the different climates to exist, but you never know if they're actually doing nothing and Terapagos is managing all that. Alright, and last but not least, here's a theory from Edkif. So they found a cool link between Penny and Terapagos, which sounds weird at first, but he might be onto something. So they say that there's a German novel from 1973 where there is a turtle called Cassiopeia that can see into the future. It's a novel called Momo, and she communicates the future with writings on her shell. He also linked it to Penny using evolutions, which is an Eevee branching off and using the different types, pretty much how Terapagos does, and just throws the hint that perhaps there's more to Penny than we actually think. And then here's actually one more theory from Jose, who says that in terms of what Terapagos' ability could be, that maybe because in the trailer it shows the typings like vanishing and appearing again, that it's a much more simple type-based ability. Something like anytime you use a move against it, it just mutes any super effective damage. I guess kind of like Tinted Lens, which doubles the damage of not very effective attacks. Maybe Terapagos with his mastery has the opposite, where super effective attacks do half damage to him. You know, that's not bad. You gotta think of uncomplicated abilities that they would be able to throw in the game. That sounds like one of them. Obviously, something like Arceus in Legends, where he can control all the typings, is a little overboard. But this defensive take is pretty good. And then here's a theory from Mahir, who says that maybe the Terrarium in the Indigo Disc is similar to the underground in BDSP, where it's just this post-game place to find various other Pokemon, which is what it is, to find National Dex Pokemon. But it's surely not its only purpose. I'm sure there's some story tied to this Terrarium. Alright, and last but not least, we have to talk about this. So everyone's been tagging me in this because Khu is back releasing more riddles. And the main one I want to talk about is this right here. A lot of the other ones are not really riddles. You can't solve them. Like, look, Puppy C was baited and boned again. I'm not looking into that, Khu. Oh, frick you. Sucker says, who is better? None of them are. Okay, clearly this one's better. Want to know the 3 heroes' second types? So this is him talking about the loyal 3. And of course, he doesn't reveal it. But let's look at some of people's guesses. Okidoki Grass Poison, Monkey Dory Water Poison, Pheasant Deputy Flying Poison. Do they have to be poison? I think they should be single typed and just have that poison ability. So they should be like Monkey Dory, Psychic, Okidoki Fighting, and Pheasantipity Pure Flying. I mean, we need more legendaries that are single typed. Everyone's dual typed nowadays. But yeah, one of Khu's tweets that just came out now that is Riddle-like is this one. And it's pretty cool. He throws this picture of Blueberry Academy and says, one of them grasps the key of the lore. And it's a big spoiler for the next game after Sudachi, which... Now, Sudachi is the code name for Scarlet and Violet's DLCs. So, let's look at this again. One of them grasps the key of the lore. There's 4 trainers here. I guess 6. But these 2 are from the first DLC. It could be them. I mean, he could have cropped them out of the photo, but he didn't. It could be them. Fine, one of these 6 grasps the key to the lore in this DLC, which means Terapagos, what's up with the time machine? Are they really from the past and future? One of these is properly linked to it. And whoever it is a big spoiler for the game after Scarlet and Violet. Could you just tell me, are they really working on like Gen 10 black and white remix as we speak? Are one of these guys involved there? This would be taking the whole strange souvenir, tiny hint that they would throw in like X and Y to the next level. Usually Pokemon is very plain with hinting games. Remember that red dude in the Pokemon League? He's like, I'm from a different region. That never went anywhere because Game Freak doesn't really do that. So that is a pretty crazy hint. And I know the most obvious idea is that it's this girl, Lacey, because she's the one shown with the 2 shards in her hairpin, which they even put a focus on in the gameplay. It's like she got it passed down to her as an heirloom. But the last part of Khu's tweet is that it's not Lacey. So forget her. One of these 5 is super important to the story and to a future Pokemon game. Just going out on a limb here, I think these 2 have the highest chance just because they're a part of both DLCs. In fact, I'm gonna throw it on the dude because he looks so useless in the trailers. He probably knows everything. And now Khu also puts a second hint that says, reminder, Nige C's breakdown of this tweet is totally wrong. She was a clown as usual. I don't know who Nige C is, but it might be Centro. So let's see Centro's breakdown so that we know what it's not. Centro's tweet, new giant leak. According to Leaker K, freaking high school drama. One of these characters, not Lacey, holds the key to the lore of the DLC and will have a big role in the next game. The being a spoiler in the next main games is the most crazy thing to us. Imagine the implications. That would mean the next game is not a remake. Still can be, you know. Also, not set in the distant past probably. Still can be. So a potential Scarlet and Violet sequel? That's the one thing it obviously is not. Oh, Central, what's wrong with you? Or, well, if the story ends up being about time travel, then I guess a game in the distant past could be possible, though. You'll have to wait for the DLC. It's exciting. I think there'll be hints for the next game. Alright. I'm glad I don't follow this account. It's freaking useless. Which of the 5 do you guys think it is? Whether it's a remake, a new gen, or a Legends game, or even a Let's Go game. Whoever it is here can still appear in that game. It's not that deep. But before I leave, there's one more thing I have to show you. So there's a little hacker called Matt Yukana. Hacker's not the right word. They just like to break down and study games, and specifically Pokemon. So one thing is, Scarlet and Violet has obviously been getting small updates. There was recent updates that fixed some bugs. There's an update that fixed the egg appearing instead of the 2 new Paradox Pokemon. He was going through the changes that the latest Scarlet and Violet update added, and he found some additions that might hint to being DLC content. So first is something under the header Battle Strid STD Mew Battle 01. Whoa, we can fight a Mew in the DLC? I would love that. Could you imagine? Someone says, I feel like I saw Mew in this terrarium. And it's not the main story, it's just a small side quest or side story, and you can actually find Mew in the terrarium. Maybe it's pretending to be other Pokemon the same way Ditto does. You know, you'll find like a Pupitar, and when you talk to it, it reverts into a Ditto. Maybe there's a side quest where you're kind of playing hide and seek in the terrarium, and you have to find Mew like, I don't know, 5 times, and then you can finally catch it. But this is relevant too. Mew is going to go all out against his formidable opponent. Wait, that's what it is, right? So imagine you find Mew like 5 times, and each time some NPC will hint something about Mew. So they'll hint that maybe Mew became a fire type, and you investigate all the fire types on the island, you eventually find Mew. It's imagine if after finding it enough times, that the last time it would say this, Mew's going all out against his formidable opponent. Listen, if there's any Pokemon that we want to argue getting a terraform, Miyu has to be up there. Miyu can do whatever it wants. Let me see a Terraform Miyu wearing its own crown. But yeah, also they found references up to TM 201, which could hint a bunch more teams being added. So that's where we are now. Make sure y'all shank that like button. Let me know your thoughts. Is there a Miyu event in this game in the Terrarium? And which of the 5 knows the secrets? And also, yeah, the cutscene is not Sada and Turo. I've taken my L. Send me more of your theories, Insta or Twitter, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.